I wanted to talk today about how sometimes it's okay to change your plans. So, earlier this week, almost a week ago now, I started posting on this channel again, and I said I was going to post something every day. And then day 4 came around, and I didn't feel like I had any solidified ideas of value to share, to post. I felt like if I was going to make a video, that it would be forced. That I would be making a video for the sake of making a video rather than making a video for the sake of sharing value and actually sharing a proper lesson I learned. I had a few ideas, but they weren't fleshed out enough for me to feel comfortable actually sharing them and discussing them. Today, I've been kind of thinking about this idea all day and debating whether or not to make a video on it today. And then I checked my channel again. I never expected anyone to watch the first 3 videos I posted, but a few people did, and there was some very heartfelt positive feedback from the first 3 videos I posted. So thank you to the people who watched those videos and posted comments. Thank you for your support and thank you for your feedback, and I'm glad what I've learned in my 25 short years, I'm glad that I was able to share it, and I'm glad that it was valuable for you, and I'm glad that it was able to help you out. The reason that I wanted to talk about this, and I didn't just bring that up for no reason, my original intent was to post every single day on this channel, and I realized over the last few days that doing so might not be the best thing for the actual quality of videos. It might not be the best thing for providing the most value to whomever stumbles upon these videos. And I would much rather create fewer videos that offer proper, more well fleshed out insights than spam a bunch of videos that don't offer so much value. Now, I'm using my YouTube channel and I'm using videos as an example. I'm going to get into some other examples later on in the video, so don't get bored and thinking this is just somebody talking about his YouTube channel for 20 minutes or whatever it's going to be. I think that it is more important for me to provide as much value as possible in each video, and I'm doing these kind of just talking head videos for now. Eventually, I may do some sort of PowerPoints or something like that as the ideas become a little bit more concrete. These videos are, as much as anything else, they're an exercise in me talking through my ideas, which is something I often do anyway, but filming it is like, why not film it? It's also an exercise for me to improve my speaking skills. I basically speak publicly for a living. I'm a martial arts teacher, and the thing with that, though, is I never get to see myself speak. With this, I get to see myself speak, and I get a different form of feedback on my public speaking ability. And my intention is to improve my speechcraft through this channel while sharing valuable ideas. I don't think posting every day would do that, so I'm changing my plans. Hence the point of this video. The tricky thing with changing your plans is discerning whether it's out of, whether it's for a good reason, and whether it's a result of lessons you've learned along the way, or whether it's a result of cope. There have been many times in my life, and I think probably just about everyone does this naturally, where I've changed my plans, and I've changed my plans because of an emotional reason, and then used logic in an attempt to justify that emotional reason. I think I'm very guilty of this at points in the past, many points, and I think most people are. We make an emotional decision, then we use logic to justify it. Everyone does this. Deciding to change your plans, particularly in what one could consider a negative direction, as in doing less of something, could very easily be cope. For example, I shouldn't say that. I have in the past dealt with social anxiety. Right? I would not say I have social anxiety. It's not a disease. It's not something I identify with either, but it is something I have contended with in the past and am currently in the process of overcoming. It's far better than it used to be, but it's something I'm still working on. And I find I actually have more so than maybe some other extroverts. I have dealt with quite a bit of social anxiety online, and this is something that I am using these videos in this channel to overcome. So when I started to think, oh, I don't know if I can provide a proper amount of value or an amount of value that I'd be proud of doing daily videos, part of my brain thought, well, is that just cope? Part of me thought, is that just cope? Is that just me trying to get out of doing this because it's hard? And I think there was a part of that. I think there was a degree of that. But I also think that there is a degree to which having reassessed the task I set before myself, I found it to be unreasonable. I think for someone just starting out, going immediately into posting daily videos, especially of something that requires a lot of mental effort, to an extent, yes, I'm just turning my camera on and yapping for 20 minutes. But these are also ideas that I've been thinking about for sometimes years. So it's not something that you can really rush or should really rush. It's not like if I was doing a gaming channel. Like if you're doing like a gaming channel, there's really no reason not to upload every day. If you're doing a music channel, I run music YouTube channels as well. There's no reason for me not to upload every day. If I can make music every day, there's no reason for me not to upload every day. This is something a little different. So I think that a level of consistency, and don't worry, I'm going to get to some other examples. This isn't just for people who run YouTube channels, but I think modulating your level of consistency and finding the sweet spot where you're able to provide the most consistent value. You have consistency and value. So you could be someone who posts one video a month and they're incredible videos, and I'm sure you could build a great following doing that. There are also people who probably post terrible videos every single day and build a great following doing that. I want to find an appropriate middle ground. I think for me, the middle ground is likely to be about 3 times a week. So I'm going to shoot for 3 videos a week with the intention to film a video every day. So that way, when I inevitably don't film a video every day, I still will at least get 3 done that week. I think that brings up an interesting thought. I think there is a degree of value in setting lofty goals and being okay with not reaching them. For example, if I were to try to post 3 videos a week and leave it at that, I'd probably post 3 videos one week and then 2 videos and then 3 and then 2 and then 1, and I would end up posting probably 1 to 2 videos most weeks. And then I'd probably get upset with myself that I wasn't posting 3 and start posting 0 and quit. If I instead set the intention to post a video every single day, but set the floor at 3, so I'd love to post a video every day, but I'm going to make sure I post at least 3 a week. Then I might shoot for 7 and I'll probably hit 3. And if I hit 4, it's suddenly, oh wow, I did even better than I expected to do. But it allows you to set lofty goals That simple mindset shift allows you to set lofty goals without feeling like a failure when you haven't reached them immediately. Like, hey, I would love to do this. Different example. I'd love to work out every single day. That's my goal. I want to work out every single day. If you don't work out at all, trying to work out every single day is going to be potentially very difficult. But if you set the intention of working out every single day, and then you work out 3 days that week, and you go to yourself, oh my God, I only worked out 3 days this week, I'm such a failure. You're now associating working out with a negative emotion, and you're less likely to continue doing it. Instead, if you intend to work out 7 days a week, and you only work out 3 days that week, and you go, wow, I worked out 3 days this week, that's so much better than the 0 days I worked out last week, and the week before, and the week before. That's amazing. Let's see if I can be consistent with 3, and let's see where it goes from there. And you might find for the next 3 to 6 months, you're only working out 3 days a week. And then maybe one week you're really fatigued, you only work out twice. And then maybe you start working out 4 days a week or 5 days a week. And I'm not talking necessarily about like heavy strength training or anything like that. I'm just talking about like exercise in general, right? Don't get too autistic with it. Like, it's not optimal. Being flexible and listening to taking in the information you're presented with, taking in the feedback that life presents you when you attempt something, and using that to adjust your mental model that you use to approach that thing is, I think, an incredibly valuable and underrated skill and tactic to use. I think too many people either set a plan that is unrealistic and then stick to it dogmatically, or set no plan and just try stuff. And I think those are both terrible ideas. I think that the best thing to do is to set a plan. To set a plan that you want to achieve, and then make a second version of that plan that is reasonable. So, for example, I'd love to make $100,000 a month. That's not particularly reasonable right now, but I'd love to get to that point. My intention is to make $100,000 a month. Let's first see if I can make $1,000 a month. Okay, I'm now making $1,400 a month with my school as of today. As of the filming of this video, I'm making $1,400 a month with my martial arts school. Is that $100,000 a month? No. Am I ever going to make $100,000 a month with my school? Probably not. Not with one school, at least. And probably not ever from that business, to be honest with you. But if I set the goal, for example, my goal is, originally this is my goal by the end of the year, but I actually think I'm going to reach it by August 1st, is 25 students at my school. I'm at 11 currently. It's better to shoot for that goal, and if I have 20 students by August 1st, that's still a massive success. I've still doubled the size of my school in less than 6 months, or about 6 months. Again, there is value in aiming high, but you mustn't beat yourself up when you don't achieve that immediately. Another concept people talk about a lot is reverse engineering. So taking that end goal and then building the steps in reverse until you get one that's achievable. So if you want to make $100,000 a month from an online business, okay, what would be the step before that? $50,000 a month. What about before that? $20,000 a month. Before that, $10,000 a month. Okay, a lot of people make $10,000 a month. Interesting. Well, before that, $5,000 a month. Okay, before that, $2,000 a month. Before that, $1,000 a month. Oh, okay, hold on. $1,000 a month from an online business is pretty reasonable. So we've just reverse engineered it from $100,000 a month, which can still be your end goal, or $1 million a month, or whatever it is. We've just reverse engineered it down to something that you can actually approach. Because if I go into a business thinking, I want to make $100,000 a month, I'm going to go like, what do I even do? Like, what can make $100,000 a month? I don't even know where to start, let alone how to scale. Like that's it, you get overwhelmed. Versus, how do I make $1,000 a month? Okay, if I have a $100 product, I just need to sell that, or service, I just need to sell that to 10 people. So if you do, let's say you do some sort of online coaching. Let's just say, for example, you're an online fitness coach. It's not something I've ever done, but if you're an online fitness coach, right, you do workout plans for people, diet plans for people, etc., custom stuff. And sorry, my jaw clicks. You probably noticed, and I apologize for that. It's probably very annoying. It's very annoying for me. If you do custom workout plans, custom diet plans for people, and you charge $50 a month for this service per client, that's probably really cheap. Let's just say you're starting with that. Well, you only need 20 clients, and let's say it's an hour of work a week for each of those clients. Well, so now it's 20 hours a week you have to work, and you're making $1,000 a month. Okay, that's doable for a lot of people. You know, you can reverse engineer it even further. You can reverse engineer it to, can I make $1 online? Once you make your first dollar online, your brain learns that it's possible. I remember when I made my first dollar online, it was so in addition to teaching martial arts, I also produce music, and I started posting my beats online in October of 2018, just 6 years ago, I think now, almost 6 years, 5.5 years ago. I made my first sale April 25th, 2019, and it was the weirdest feeling in the world. It was crazy. I was like, holy shit, I just sold a beat, a piece of music that I made to someone else for them to use in their song for $25. That is insane. If I can do that once, I can do it multiple times, right? Now, there's a whole bunch of other factors with that business, but if you can set a goal so small, this goes back to, I guess, 2 videos ago, I talked about starting humiliatingly small. If you can reverse engineer your big goal down to a goal that's humiliatingly small, once you achieve that, you get that reward, that dopamine. You're like, oh, I did it. I can't believe I actually did that. So it's possible to make progress. Your brain doesn't actually want the results it wants progress. There are a lot of people who want something really badly, and as soon as they achieve it, they become insanely depressed. I believe it was Michael Phelps. I think there was one year he won like 3 or 4, a whole bunch of gold medals in the Olympics, and the next day he wanted to kill himself because he had nothing to strive for now. He had achieved his big goal, and now he had nothing to live for. Or that's what he thought. And his brain said, you've achieved the big goal now, I don't know where to orient myself next, game over. And that's why a lot of the most successful entrepreneurs are always setting new goals for themselves. I think Alex Hormozi talks about that a lot. I believe he's talked about this before. I know I've heard it elsewhere as well. Some people even, one of my business coaches, he will set a new goal before he's achieved the previous one. So if his goal was to make $5,000 a month online, once he's making $4,500, he bumps that goal up to $7,000, $10,000, whatever it is. He doesn't even let himself achieve the previous goal before he moves it up. I don't know. Maybe that works because of his personality type. Maybe that wouldn't work for me. Maybe it would. I don't actually know. We'll see. But the tricky part with all of this for a lot of people is, at least that for me, I should say, is having the flexibility to change your goals. Because I kind of attach my ego to the goal sometimes and go, well, no, I want to do it this way. I want to do this thing. And sometimes it's like, well, hold on. That's not realistic. And it's not actually going to get you the results you want. That method that you're attached to is not necessarily going to get you the results that you want. For example, me trying to post a video every single day without fail on this channel probably wasn't going to get me the results I wanted. I'd probably get burnt out, and I would also probably feel like I'm not providing proper value with each video. If I now aim to post 3 days a week, but stay conscious of filming a video every day, and maybe have some level of intention about filming a video every day. Maybe even if it's one day I just start thinking about an idea, and I'm thinking about it a lot, and then I sleep on it, and I'm still thinking about it the next day. Maybe that second or third day I filmed the video. But making sure I film at least 3 videos a week, and post at least 3 videos a week. And, sorry, I just thought this was almost flying around in here. And, that I think will be much healthier for me and for my goals with this channel. You could apply this to so many other things. I think weightlifting is a great example to apply this to. So I have a friend, a good friend of mine, old student of mine, and she is, she's for all intents and purposes a bodybuilder, amateur bodybuilder, but she's absolutely jacked and fantastic shape. And she had a shoulder injury. It wasn't a acute thing. It wasn't like she did something to it and it got hurt. It was a gradually over time. She just wore it down, overworked it, didn't rest enough, and found herself just unable to do the things she used to do. To the point where she had to basically stop lifting. And that's her favorite thing, and she had to stop. Some of the advice I gave her was kind of the advice I talked about a couple of videos ago, of starting humiliatingly small. I don't think I put it that way with her. I may have, actually. I don't remember. I don't remember if I put it that way. But one of these trees is making creepy noises, bro. I told her to start incredibly small. I had her doing a couple seconds of shoulder isometrics, like a few reps, like really, really small stuff, in order to get the muscles activated again and kind of build some strength and build some tendon and ligament strength and regain a little hypertrophy and stuff like that. But it's not what she necessarily wanted to hear or wanted to do. But when I told her, she's like, oh, that makes sense. But her instinct, and mine as well, is, mine in the past as well has been, I want to get back to doing the thing I was doing. I want to get back to shoulder pressing heavy and doing lateral raises with dumbbells, and I want to get back to doing my full workouts and benching and all that stuff. But then every time you do it, your shoulder hurts. I've made this mistake for years. My shoulder hurt for years shoulder pressing, and I just kept doing it. I didn't increase the weights, but I didn't decrease them either. For a long time, I was like, no, it's fine. It's just, as long as it doesn't hurt more. It's dumb. It is absolutely okay, and I would even say it is optimal and ideal to change your course of action based on feedback, if your interpretation of the feedback instructs you to do so. If again, me with the YouTube channel, this is going to be too much. I'm not going to be able to make the quality of videos I want to make. Let me lower the output a bit. This hurts my shoulder. Let me do less weight, or let me do a different form of exercise. Right now, I may make a video series or maybe even a course or something on this once I have it a little more fleshed out. I have been doing at-home workouts, full body. I just switched to doing full body push-pull. Excuse me, because it got to too many exercises per day. I would have been doing 16 exercises per day. It would have been too much. But I recently switched up a little bit. But I've been doing primarily isometric stuff, and actually still building hypertrophy and building muscle size and doing stuff with that. So that's something I may share in the future. But it was a hard transition for me. It was a hard transition for me because I was very much in the traditional bodybuilding mindset of, well, you need to lift heavy weights to get big. And the truth is that you don't need to lift heavy weights to get big. That's probably the title of another video. You don't need to lift heavy weights to get big. There are other ways to get big. Time under tension, all that. You've done this thing for X amount of time. I've been lifting for 8 or 9 years now. You've only gotten so far. You're working out from home, so you don't have heavy weights. You don't have a lot of time because you're building multiple businesses. Is there something that you can get better results with that's more time efficient and healthier? And there was. And it took me months after learning it to actually start implementing it regularly, because I was still stuck in the old mindset of, no, this is the way I want to do it. This is the way I'm used to doing it. And it's hard to let go of those ideas. And there's actually specific neurological reasons that it's hard to let go of old ideas. Again, it's probably a whole other video, but when you let go of old ideas, the neurons in your brain that hold those ideas need to actually die. And that death is obviously painful at any level. So your brain doesn't want that to happen. It doesn't want those old ideas to die, especially if those old ideas seem to be working, if your brain is convinced they're working, even if they're not. So when you take in the feedback you're getting from your environment and use that information to reassess your course of action, you can often come up with the right answer and just not act on it. It's often very, very difficult for people to, at least for me, and I think for a lot of other people as well, I see it a lot, it's more difficult to act on the right answer than it is to find the right answer. You might have the right answer, but you're just not doing it because it requires you to change your actions. It requires you to do whatever. It requires you to change course. If there are often times where you know you should change something, or you know you should be doing something different, but you don't because it's uncomfortable. So if you were running a YouTube channel and you'd been making the same type of content for years and it's not performing as well as it used to, maybe you try something new. Or maybe you think to yourself for 6 months, maybe I should try something new, and you never do. Or, and I've made this mistake with some of my music channels in the past, you try something new and it works, but it's 10% harder, 50% harder, maybe even twice as hard to actually make that type of content. So you go back to making the old content you were doing. Even though you got 100 times the results, you go back to the old thing because it's a bit easier. And I still get the satisfaction of uploading daily. And it's easier. And it takes less time. But I get 50 views instead of 5,000. The same thing with working out. Maybe you've been doing the same thing for a while, and for whatever reason, maybe your chest, I had this problem, my chest was underdeveloped. For years I just did the same thing and my chest didn't get any better developed. Eventually I tried a bunch of different things for improving the development of my chest, both dietary and in the gym, and lo and behold, it started developing better. So I mean, another great example is in martial arts, especially a martial art that is a combat sport, something like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or Muay Thai, where, maybe in Jiu-Jitsu you're trying something over and over again and it's not working. Then it's like, okay, what am I doing wrong? How can I change it so I do it right? And again, this can be applied in business. Okay, my website isn't converting. Why isn't it converting? Well, maybe your copy sucks. Maybe the pictures suck. Whatever it is. Maybe your offer isn't good. Whatever it is. There are there are so many times where the answers are right in front of us, and we even know what to do, but we're too afraid to change from the status quo. Whether it's because of what other people will think of us, or simply because it's too taxing, it's too tiring, it's too hard, or it's too much uncertainty for our brain to handle comfortably. I think that it is important. The thing that I've found to work the best in those scenarios, when you've assessed your current course of action, you've come up with a more promising hypothesis as to what you should be doing, what course of action you should be taking. And you find yourself not implementing that new course of action. What I found to work for me is to actually step away from the old course of action before I try implementing the new one. So actually separate the two, and instead of immediately switching from one to the other, if you're not able to do that for whatever reasons, you got this mental block, what I found to work for me more is removing the old habit, removing the old process or method, letting it sit for an amount of time, maybe a couple days, nothing crazy, and then feeling that void in your schedule, feeling that void in your space, feeling that void in your reward system, and then coming back and deliberately and mindfully implementing the new strategy. Because if you try to do the new thing, and you still have the old thing sitting right there, your brain, if it thinks the old thing is easier, which it probably is because it's more practiced, your brain is going to go, why are we doing this stupid new thing? Can we just do the old thing that we know works? Even if it doesn't get the results you actually want, you still feel like you're being productive. You still get that dopaminergic reward. So what I've found is stepping away a little bit, spending a couple days or whatever it is, depends on the scale of the task and all that, but usually a couple days for a lot of the tasks or types of things that we're talking about. This can work for workouts. Take a couple days off, reassess, maybe after a day or two. Okay, let me write down a new plan. Just what do I think I need to work on? And then starting with that. I've done that plenty of times and often seen great results with it. Where I go, okay, I'm going to take 2 or 3 days off of working out. Is it optimal? Well, not short term, sure. Or sometimes just, all right, I'll do some push-ups if I feel like it, whatever, but I'm not going to do a real workout. And then, okay, what is wrong with my old workout plan? How do I address that? Well, okay, I should be doing, pec flies instead of just bench. I should also be doing pec flies because my chest isn't getting hit enough, or whatever it is. All right, my my lateral delts are underdeveloped. Maybe I should do a couple extra sets of lateral raises an extra time a week. Whatever it is, right? And actually setting up a plan and then giving yourself the space to begin implementation. I think a lot of times we're so focused on speed, and speed is very important. I think it's the number one rule of business. But sometimes you need to give yourself space to implement the new. So you could think of it like a bucket. If a bucket is already full of water and you want to pour apple cider in there for whatever reason, and you just start pouring apple cider in, yeah, it's going to displace some of the water, but that apple cider is going to end up watered down. Whereas if you just empty the bucket first, maybe even let it dry, and then start pouring in the apple cider. Now it's full of apple cider. And I have a bucket of apple cider. Hopefully that's exciting for you. I don't know. But I've found, for me, it is often better to step away a little bit. The trap you can fall into here is not stepping back in. Is stepping away and then, okay, I needed a couple days to reassess, but the new thing's too hard. I won't do either one. That's not good either. So it is important to be careful of that and be aware of that. But what I found to work the best is, for me, and this may not work for you. You might have a different personality type. Your brain might work a little different. This might not work for you. But for me, I found it most effective when I've already been unsuccessful in implementing a new strategy, when the old strategy is failing consistently. Okay, I need to try something new, and I haven't implemented anything new yet. Even if I already know what to do, take some time back, take a step back for a short amount of time, reassess, and then work on implementing the new thing. And you're always going to be reassessing as you go along, and there might be little adjustments you can make, but it's often easier to make those little adjustments early on when you're implementing the new thing. You're not kind of set in your ways, and then you can kind of find what works and stick with that for as long as it works. But don't be afraid to continue to experiment. But as the kind of cream rises to the top, you can see, okay, this is the strategy that works. Let me keep going with this. So this video ended up being way longer than I expected. I expected a 15 or 20 minute video. I don't even know what I talked about for 37 minutes, but I did. So hopefully that was valuable for you. So in conclusion, don't be afraid to change your course of action midway. Don't be afraid to assess where you are, assess where you want to be, assess what you're doing, and assess the progress you've been making doing what you're doing. And if the progress is unsatisfactory, don't be afraid to try something new. And don't be afraid to stop doing the old thing first, leave a little bit of a void, and then start implementing the new thing. It often hurts our ego, but I think we're better off for it. And if the new thing sucks and it doesn't work well, you can always go back to the old thing. It's not hard to go back to the old thing. Trust me, it's not hard at all. So if you're able to implement the new thing, now you can actually see if it works. Does this actually work as well as I thought it would? Maybe yes, maybe no. Maybe it doesn't work, but it gives you a new idea. It kind of falls into that rule number 1 of business, which is speed. If you're constantly mobile enough, even just mentally dexterous enough to try new things, you get to try them and you no longer have to worry or wonder if they're going to work. You find out. You know? All those months I wasn't doing this kind of isometric style of exercise, a lot of the time I was wondering, would it even work? Does that really work? I don't know if it's really going to work for me. Whereas I could have just tried it for a month or 2 weeks or whatever and see, okay, how do I feel? Have I made any progress? And once I did that, I'm like, oh yeah, this is actually working pretty well for me. It feels different. It feels kind of weird, but it's actually, I'm making more gains than I was lifting. So I hope that's been valuable for you. I did not expect this to be a 40-minute video. But again, I hope it's been valuable for you. Once these concepts, as I continue to explore these concepts, again, these videos are me yapping and exploring a concept, and it's kind of a come on this journey as I think through this concept is kind of the style of these videos. At some point in the future, when these are more solidified, I may do like a PowerPoint thing and give you guys a quick 5-10 minute video of like, hey, here's the tips and tactics. But I think there is value too to going on a mental journey with someone as someone thinks through a concept and thinks through an idea. And again, I'm not attached to people watching these. Part of these is to improve my speaking skills, and part of these is to process these ideas. And so far, some people seem to find them valuable. So if you've watched all of this video for some reason, congratulations, you have a For this day and age, you have an incredible attention span. And I hope it's been valuable for you. And if there's anything about it that doesn't make sense, or you have any questions about it, please let me know, and I'd be happy to discuss it with you more, whether it's in a reply to a YouTube comment, or whether it's even making another video expanding upon the idea, as if I need to do that after 40 minutes. But so I hope this has been helpful for you. Do try to implement it into your own life, even when it's a little scary. I understand it can be scary sometimes, but I think it is I would even say vitally important to be able to assess, experiment, and reassess. So I think I've talked long enough, and hope this helps you. Have a wonderful night.